Five, four, three, two, one. Welcome to the public. I can't speak today. We haven't even started, and I can't even say the. I can't even say the name of the podcast. The public speaking. The public speaker. Ah. Welcome to the Public Speaking Expert Podcast. And I just want to say a massive thank you to each and every one of you that's liking, that's subscribing, that is sending us the comments, that is sending us the feedback saying, Elliot, we love your podcast. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So please keep them coming in. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave us a great comment. And if you leave us a great comment, I will personally send you a copy of a book. And I'm happy to announce that I have started book number 7. That's right. And actually, today's podcast is all about the theme of my book. Oh, yeah. I'm so excited. Can you tell I'm excited? But I also have another announcement to make. Are you ready for this? Can you tell I'm actually showing my age just by humming that song? So if you don't know what I was humming, then clearly you are of a different generation, or my singing is that bad. One of the two. But either way, this will be my 7th book, will be my last book for a while. So, maybe 12 months, maybe, I don't know, 10 years. But after book number 7, lucky number 7, I will be pausing my authoring for a little while to focus on other things such as fishing and scuba diving and gardening. Only joking, but I definitely won't be writing another book after this. I just want to pause writing for a while. Considering I have written 3 books in the last 2 years, I think that's enough. So I did How to Stand Out as Speaker, Be More Giraffe, which was a shortlisted a Business Book Award last year. Whoop, 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 whoop. And then we wrote one of the new books that's coming out, which is Thrive and Monetize Your Speaking. And that's 125 tips on how to do that. And this one is the theme of today. And this is it. I had a realization. I'm going to share something with you right here. So first of all, hello to everybody watching us on YouTube. Hello to everybody watching us on LinkedIn. And hello to everybody that's listening as you do on a normal, regular podcasting platform, whatever your preferred one is. Make sure you like, subscribe, and of course, send us a comment. I had a really interesting realization. There's an interesting journey to this book being started. And I always knew I was going to write a 7th book. And I always knew I wanted to be about something really special. And I knew it would come to me. I didn't want to force it. I knew I wanted to be about communications, but I didn't want it to be another book about public speaking or, how to communicate with authority. And I sat there and I was like, what is it, right? What is it that brings everything that I do under one umbrella that's far greater than, I don't mean this derogatory, simply speaking, something that has far greater influence, something that really captivates everything that I do when I work with my clients, when I work with people on their speaking, when I work with people on their influence. What is it? And I was just sitting there and, is it, and I was meditating on it for 6 months against a tree on a mountain in Devon. And I was like, what is it? What is it? Of course, I wasn't really meditating for 6 months on a mountain in Devon, because any of you would know there's no mountains in Devon. There's lots of hills, but not a lot of mountains. But anyway, I was sitting there, what is it? What is it? And you know what? It came to me last week. And that's the thing, flow and just allowing things that need to show up in your life to show up in your life. And for those of you who are watching or who are LinkedIn friends or who are going to be LinkedIn friends, feel free to add me on LinkedIn. I've changed my bio according to this, and I've actually unleashed a new talk because of this. I've already been booked for it in September. So if you want to book me for this talk, make sure you get in touch and let's get booked up. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So it's literally all about, and this is why I realized it, it came to me and I've been sitting on this and I've heard the term before, and I started to do lots of research. I was like, what is this? Is this? And I was like, oh my God, this is everything I do with my clients. I always knew that how I phrased what I did was close, but wasn't it. But now I found it. And it found me. And now we're going to get together and be a happy family, living in unity, it and me. I'm talking about unlocking executive presence. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about executive presence. And then I started to really research because I've already done, like, I've watched over 100 famous talks. I've watched the big TEDx's and the big TEDs, and I was always looking at what brings them, what is that umbrella that captures them, right? What is it that certain like leaders have when it comes to communication that others don't? And if you look at Sheryl Sandberg, Barack Obama, if you look at people like Elon Musk, and you look at people like Satya Nadella, all those people, I'm like, what is it? Right? Brené Brown, Richard Branson, Oprah. I'm like, and even some people in the UK that I watch and I see on stage, even the winner of the Speaker Awards last year, Jazz. I was like, what is it? And I started to look at it and I was like, aha, it's executive presence. And I'm so excited to be writing a book about this. And I'm so excited to start to work with more and more CEOs, MDs, founders, top high ranking people that want to truly have influence on executive presence. Because this is something more than just standing on stage and speaking. This is more than just storytelling, not to take away from any of the above. But this is really for that top, what we call 4%, that truly want to influence, of course, for the better. But I really want to show people how that is done. And that's what I've been doing. But now I'm going to like really niche it in. I'm going to really target it. This is it. This is the way forwards, right? So if if you consider yourself someone who's influential, highly influential, if you want to be someone who's highly influential, if you want to be someone who's really kind of impacting and creating long-term influence, long-term legacy, right? It's all about evolving your executive presence, right? So if you want to stand up, be more giraffe, it's all about executive presence. If you want to command those rooms, executive presence. If you want to walk into a meeting and make sure everybody listens and pays attention, executive presence. Now, just to be clear, this doesn't mean that everybody falls at your feet going, oh my God, we're not worthy. Oh my God, we say yes, yes, yes. No, because executive presence is also about how you deal with adversity as well, how you deal with blowback, how you deal with challenging situations. And again, when I look at some of the people I've worked with and trained, people that have gone on TV, people that I've chosen for all these, competitions, campaigners I've worked with for changing the law and things like that, I'm like, yes, that's what I've been doing. I've been doing this. And finally, I have the term. So I'm super excited about that, right? So what is executive presence, right? What is executive presence? Now, some go like, oh my gosh, that's so basic, but it's so true, right? So I just want to break it down a little bit and then we can have a little bit of chat about it. And of course, I'd love to hear who you think has executive presence in your life, because it's not just, here's the great thing. It's not just for the famous few. It's not for the chosen few. Anybody can have executive presence, right? And the reasons people like managing directors, CEOs, founders, people sort of understand the importance of developing it is because actually that could be the difference between people choosing them and their competitors. It's the difference between the ability to inspire, motivate, and of course disrupt in an effective manner, right? Excuse me. So that's why executive presence is so important. So if we do look at the Sheryl Sandbergs and the Barack Obamas and the Elon Musks and Satya Nadella, and we look at Indra Noyel, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, Brené Brown, Richard Branson, we look at all those people, right? They have some key aspects in common, right? And these are things that are very transferable. Now, you don't have to want to be a global superstar, a global entrepreneur to have this. But even you look at Alan Sugar, you look at Karen Brady, right? You look at those, Tim Campbell. I know I'm just looking at The Apprentice, but you look at them, they have this. And the first thing is really confidence, right? It's the confidence, not just like, hey, look at me, I'm so strong, I'm so powerful. It's the confidence to navigate negativity. It's the confidence to stand in their own values and their own morality. And that's one of the things when it comes to executive presence. It's not just being confident, it's the confidence to navigate negativity. It's the confidence to speak through your values. It's the confidence to speak through your moral compass, as well as who you are and what you stand for. That's why the purpose piece, again, another realization I had is every single person that I've worked with on my mentoring, we've always done a purpose piece. And then I've understood how instrumental that is strategically, but now I understand how important that is when it comes to executive presence, right? So it's to speak through your purpose, it's to speak through your values and your morality and be able to withstand that, right? And stand for that when it's challenging. Of course, the other aspect of executive presence is effective communication, right? So it's the ability to really communicate in the most effective language and the most simplistic way that inspires and speaks to people's minds as well as hearts. Now, a lot of people do really focus on effective communication when it comes to leadership, but they forget all the other elements which gives them the executive presence, right? If you think of Steve Jobs, also someone with executive presence, he was a phenomenal salesperson because he would take the complex and make it very simple. In fact, so simple that people would buy things they wouldn't understand. Like, oh yeah, I get how that works. I get what that is, but I don't know what it is, right? I forget if you like him or not and his way of working, but he had an executive presence and he had a way of communicating that simplified the complicated, made it very simple. And that's why Apple became what it became, even when they kicked him out and he rebuilt it, blah, 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 blah. Effective communication, that is an imperative piece of executive presence, right? It's also the ability to communicate when things are challenging, when things are hard, right? It's that poise, it's that grace that you see people when they're challenged. You know, if you look at, again, you know, Barack Obama, when things were hard, forget if you like him or not, if you agree with him politically or not, I'm not interested in that at this point, right? But when he was up against it, calm, poise, confidence, grace, effective communication, calm communication, right? Because Barack Obama and many of the people I've listed, and of course there's people out there, emotional intelligence, right? Emotional intelligence is an incredibly important aspect of this, right? It's to have executive presence, it's that self-awareness when it comes to emotions. What am I feeling? Okay, and being able to recognize that as well. Then self-manage, to manage your emotions. Empathy is a massive part of executive presence. You know, Richard Branson's notoriously known for being very empathetic and therefore able to navigate really complex, hard dynamics because also because of his self-awareness, his self-management, but of course his ability to show and display empathy to that. Another thing that when it comes to emotional intelligence is actually having social awareness, right? So when you are able to understand where someone's coming from and their social status and the social need within that, that helps give you emotional intelligence. Well, I'm not an emotional intelligence expert, but I'm just showing this in terms of when it comes down to um, executive presence, right? And the other thing, of course, is relationship management when it comes to emotional intelligence, how you manage different dynamics, different cultures, different belief, different opinions, different belief sets. All that comes to emotional intelligence. Now, again, this might seem like really big and broad, but actually it's very compact and it's very immediate. And that's what gives someone's executive presence as well. Of course, politicians spend a lot of time working on their executive presence. Unfortunately, a lot of them don't have this and its authenticity, right? They might start off, and a lot of people say that they start in politics because they want to change the game, and then they get swayed, they get pulled into the game, and they lose their authenticity. I'm not saying that about all politicians, by the way. I'm just generally saying that. So a key thing, again, when it comes to executive presence is your authenticity. Now, we talked about your values, we talked about your morality, your purpose, right? So all of those things are the spine of who you are, and it's a case being okay and standing for who you are and what you want to be, that dynamic within you of being authentic, not showing up thinking you need to be someone that you should be or you could be or you're expected to be. It's going, this is me. Now, a lot of us are very good at that, right? But it's also doing that in a way that encompasses and enrolls and welcomes people into who you are. So, you know, if I listed some of these people, some of you probably feel like you could approach them because, you know, that's who they are. They're very authentic and they come across, I'm not saying you could, very approachable. And that's a big part of that executive presence. Now, Again, some of them might not appeal that. Like, I'm not sure how approachable Elon Musk is, right? But on the other hand, uh, he comes across like you could just walk up, hey Elon, tell me about how we're gonna launch my little wall into space, and go, well, you need this formula, this formula, this formula. Of course, you're not going to approach him, and I'm not sure he's that approachable, but it's that feeling, right? Because you, when you meet someone authentic, there's this feeling that you have access to them, that you know them. Now, again, authenticity also means that people might not like you, right? Take it or leave it. That's also being authentic. If everybody likes you, there's something wrong. If nobody likes you, something's wrong. So authenticity is also being that little bit of marmite to you. Like, look, this is who I am. Take it or leave it. And not everybody's going to agree with you, and not everybody understands you, and not everybody's going to like you, right? But that is who you are. Now, if you take this together, right, and you take confidence, poise, effective communication, emotional intelligence, and authenticity, and you mix it in a nice bowl, you have executive presence. Now, of course, it needs to be nurtured, it needs to be developed, things need to be addressed, because in fact, a lot of people unconsciously will speak through their value system. But to be consciously aware of that and use that in a way that inspires influence, inspires change, inspires people to be more productive, to be a better team member, to adhere to the company goals. Oof, that's a very different transformation. And again, when I work with a lot of my clients who stand on stage and have that executive persona and are developing that, those are the ones that have the impact. They're also the ones that get the sales. They're also the ones that truly pull the right kind of people towards them. They have that gravitas. They have that strength. They understand industries. They're able to go, well, this is going on, this is going on, this is going on. They can pull out stats, data. That's a big part of that as well. So I just want you to understand that it's so important in day and age to have executive presence, right? It's no longer just about, having great communication skills. That's a given, right? If you're on a certain level, it's not just about, the confidence to stand on stage. Actually, it's the confidence to massively inspire, to motivate, to drive, to get to people's minds and heart all in one. And it's that, I'll give you a great example. If you're still kind of struggling to understand executive presence, people just walk in the room and you feel it, but not because they're angry, not because they're aggressive, not because they're like coming across with dictatorship mode, but they come across, they just stand there, and that you feel their presence throughout the room, or you feel their presence the moment they come on stage, right? But you feel it everywhere. That's a great example of executive presence. So I just wanted to do that. I just want to share that with you. I'm so excited about this whole, and I'm going to be writing a book about it, so keep an eye on it. And of course, if I can support you to develop your executive presence, to really stand on stage with that executive presence, reach out. Let's have a talk, right? You can find a Calendly to book in a call with me about this. I'm super excited to add this to my repertoire of speaking with authority and everything else we do, because this is the next level for a lot of you listening. This is the next level for a lot of people who aren't listening. So if you know someone who should have heard this, send it to them. Say, look, you need to listen to this, man. You need to listen to this woman. You need to listen to this person. You need to listen to this. You just need to listen to this, right? So if you like what you heard, feel free to reach out. I'd love to support you. I'd love to help you in your journey to unlocking your executive presence. And in the meantime, be seen, be heard, and be more giraffe. And of course, like, subscribe, and follow. And keep sending us your feedback. Keep letting us know how much you're enjoying this. Because you know what? If nothing else, it makes me feel good. Till the next time, people, be seen, be heard, and be more giraffe. Bye.